What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be taking out the cassette player, and I'm going to show you all how to install a CD player in the car. I'm probably going to get a lot of hate for it because it's still got the stock cassette player and I'm like pimping it out or something, you know, because I'm changing it. Say what you want. I mean, it's going to play cleaner and sound better with the CD player, just have better quality, and it's going to look just as good on the inside. I mean, you got the purists out there that say keep it stock, then you got people that say mod it, then you got people like me who just want to make it a little cooler and nicer, you know. I'm going to put an Alpine head unit in it. It's from 2003, so it's old school, and it's really cool looking stuff. I'm really excited to see how it looks, but I want to show you all how to do it. I've never done it before, so I'm kind of going to be learning throughout the whole video, but to do it, you got to take the center console out. So I'm going to show you all how to do that real quick. Get the center console out, and then we'll take and figure out how to get the radio unbolted and then unplug it, and I'll show you all how to wire in a new one without hacking up the factory harness. So I started by unhooking the battery so that we don't kill it from having the doors open this whole time. So to take the center console out, this is custom on mine. It's aftermarket, so it's going to be different probably than yours. For me, I just take out the two screws here, and then I can unhook the boot, and I should be able to slide this whole piece over the shifter without having to take the shifter off. And then right here, you take out the 4 screws down at the bottom of the glove box, and then you take out these 2 right here. This piece here pops out. I can pop this out, and then you pull the ashtray out, and let me show you. You pull out the screws. There's supposed to be like 2. I only got 1. You pull that screw out, and then you can take and pull the whole entire center console up. That's as easy as it is. Don't let anybody tell you different. So once you do that, you can pull it back and you can unhook the wiring on the back side, and you're set. There you go. That's how you get the center console out. So let me do it in my car. Center console is removed. You see where it bolts down there, where it bolts down there, and that is it. So these are the 3 connections you gotta unplug. Don't worry about that one. That connection has always been unplugged in my car. I'm not sure what it goes to, but these are the 3 you gotta unplug. Some people have trouble with them. I have never had a lick of trouble with them. They always just unplug. I know the piece on the side of that one's broken, but they always unplug easily for me. Okay, so behind the head unit, you can barely see anything, but you can see, you see a bracket right here that goes behind the head unit. There's a nut on the back side of it, so I'm gonna remove that nut and we'll go from there. I heard a gentleman say that you have to take the bolts or something out that's on top of the radio, so I'm assuming like on top. I cannot see it from where I'm at. I can't see them, so I'm gonna start with the nut that I can see, go from there and figure out if there's more. I'm sure there is, but I'm gonna start with what I can figure out. So I got the nut on the back side out, and you can see right here it was an 11 millimeter. I used just a wrench to get it off. You can't really fit a ratchet back there. And then make sure you got some towels so you can wipe your hands so you don't get anything dirty. You know, you got light gray carpet, seats, and then I'm gonna use a socket. I gotta figure out what size it is and get that golden bolt out. So I got that 1 bolt out right there with the bracket. I know there's 2 screws here. I don't know what they do. Low key, they could be mounted to a bracket that holds this. So I'm gonna take those out here in a minute to see if that's what it is. That was it, guys. It was the 2 screws right there, the nut in the back, and the bolt right there at the bottom to hold that bracket. But you won't believe what happened with this screw. That sucker stripped out, even with the impact, as hard as I could pushing it. I had to go to my neighbor's house, who's a mechanic, and get some screw extractors and drill that thing and drill it and drill it and drill it. And then I finally was able to get this thing far enough in there, and it bit up and it turned that screw around. The screw's hot right now. Like, that screw is hot from all the drilling. So I got metal everywhere to clean up. But hey, that radio is loose, baby. We are chilling right now. We gotta get this puppy out, and then we can go to the next project, which is the CD player. We gotta get the wiring right, then we can get the CD player working, and then we can get it installed and mounted up on the dash. So let's get at it. Alright guys, so you can see the radio is very loose, sitting in there. And you know what I should do? Let me eject this cassette real quick before I pull it out. Which I don't need the car on, but I forgot that I had the cassette in there. I don't want it damaged. It's a good one. It's Bon Jovi, Crossroads. That's a really good one. I got it off eBay. I got quite a few. Let me show them to y'all real quick. I got like 5, I think. I got the old Aerosmith, big ones. That's a good one. Some random ones. Bon Jovi. Then Crossroads. This one plays really good. This one, I got it brand new off eBay. And that one plays the best. But then that one plays second best. And then they're old, you know, they're like from the 80s and 90s probably. So you can't expect them to play the best, but they play really good. And they're kind of fidgety sounding, you know, because there's magnets and stuff in the whole setup. So that's why I'm going to a CD player. And that way I can just, if I want to listen to the radio, I can. Which this little antenna I got doesn't really get the best service. So I'd put a CD player in it, throw a CD in it, or I can use my Bluetooth plug-in thing. Let me show y'all that. This thing, I can plug it into the cigarette lighter, and it gives me Bluetooth. But even with the cassette player, it still wasn't too clear. It sounded kind of funky, you know what I mean? So that's why I'm going to a CD player, and it's gonna make it more modern, kind of, and it's gonna give it more of a 2000s look, because it's from the 2000s, a CD player. And like, if you was in the 2000s, you know, you would have one in it for the most part. Most people would. So it's kind of cool looking, and it's more old school. Well, this is the old school style, but that's old school. But the CD player I got's also old school, so it's gonna look good. And it's not gonna be like an old school interior with a brand new CD player from 2025, you know? So I think it's gonna look really good, and I still haven't shown it to y'all, so y'all are probably wondering what I got, but it's alpine. It's a really nice one. So for this radio right here, it's really big. I gotta figure out how to get it out. I did not think it'd be that tight back there, I ain't gonna lie. But probably try to wobble it out somehow. Might have to take off like this rusted up bracket if I can. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Once we get it out, we'll probably unplug it then. Unless it'd be easier to unplug it now. We'll find out. So I've had this thing loose for over 2 hours. It is completely loose. I've had it all the way as far back as I can down there. And this thing will not fit out. I cannot slide it out, can't twist it up. Forced it, I've done everything under the sun. It will not work. And I don't want to break my dash or do anything stupid and regret it. So I'm figuring out what to do. I've already taken this bolt off. I was thinking about taking the bracket off, but that's not going to do me nothing. Taking 2 bolts. The only 2 bolts I can find out of this piping back here off. Try to pop it down so I can get some room back there to slide the radio out. It doesn't work. I got the bolts out. Nothing works. Nothing at all works. I'm getting fed up with it because I'm spending forever on it, and it's just stupid stuff, you know? It's a little radio. Why won't it just slide out? There's nothing holding it in place. The only thing it hits is wiring back here. You see I took the bolts out. This thing wobbles on this side, but it won't come out. Tried to pry it down and out. Done everything I can. But I don't know how to get it out. I've looked up videos, but you can't find nothing. Keep messing with it and eventually figure out how to get it out. I tell you right now, getting the radio in, it's going to be so much more easier than messing with this. Finally. Oh, man. I've been at this for over 2 hours just messing with this radio, trying to get it to come out, and it's already been loose for the whole 2 hours. You can see I've scuffed it up pretty good. This is all solid still back here. Nothing's really damaged. That crack's always been there. Don't worry about that. Got the radio removed. This was one of the wires hooked to it. I'm pretty sure that might have been for the antenna, but I'm not sure. I really need to look that up to figure it out. I know there is an actual wire that comes off the back of my CD player with a connector that would plug into that, so that's probably what that's for. Anyways, I tested the wiring harness I got from Crutchfield, and it works perfectly. So I can take and go connect these wires to the harness for the CD player because everything's right. It's my center console, so I can go connect these wires here, and then we will have a harness made up and be able to hook up the CD player and test it out. Okay guys, so basically what we got is the wiring harness, all of the colors and what they do right here, and then we got the CD player wiring harness right here, and then we have all of the colors and what they are right there. And you basically connect whatever is what on this side, you match it to this side, you connect it, and what you gotta do is I need to go grab them, but you get little butt connectors. You take and pull this off, you know, so you slide the wire in, cut it and do it on this side, slide the wire in, and then you use I don't have a cigarette lighter, so I gotta light some matches right here and burn the ends of the butt connectors. Just heat them up a little bit so they melt and it'll keep the wires together. Alright guys, I got the harness all fabbed up. This right here is where you can see where I had to fix the ground wire right here. That way I can ground it to the chassis. Probably gonna ground it to the bottom of the dash if I can, right there on the dash frame. And then these two wires, the pink one is audio interrupt lead, and the blue and white, that is a remote turn on lead. I do not think I need either one of them. Plus I don't have provisions for either one on the harness. So I'm gonna take and go hook up the radio, make sure this will reach where I need it to. Then I'll take and put this on, and then I'll hook up the radio, test it out, see if it works. And here's the radio I got. Old school Alpine. It's the 9825. It's pretty sweet. Let's plug this puppy in and see if this ground will work. We'll fix the ground for the harness with the connector right there, and we will hook the battery up, test it out, see if it works. So we got the head unit grounded right there. We got the two extra wires just hanging out back here. They're not touching anything, they're not touching each other, so they'll be fine for now. And then I'll actually heat shrink them together once we know everything's good. But first I gotta go hook up the battery. Alright guys, we're ready. Let's put the key in the ignition and turn it back. See if there's any buttons. Well, nothing. Sorry guys, I just stopped filming there for a while because it just got comical, I ain't gonna lie. Freaking, I realized that I should probably put a chassis ground on the back here. So I grounded the chassis with a good ground. I had this ground here wired into the dash. I started using a test light down here, testing everything. I had solid grounds, all of them worked good. I had my switched ignition, constant power. I had illumination, and I also tapped in the, what is this thing called? Let me see. Remote turn on wire. I tapped it into the switched ignition here. That's what you're supposed to do. Still nothing. So I checked my fuse box. I swapped out the fuse. The fuse was fine, but I swapped it out anyway. Still nothing. I think this CD player that I bought from a dude on Marketplace, that he told me it was good, everything worked. I think he was just bullcrapping me, and this thing is cooked. So it's a dud, but anyways, I'm still gonna test it out. So I'm gonna take and just rig up, you know, some wires into the wiring, you know, and then put the ground on the ground and test it out, see if it lights up. I'm not expecting it to, because there's not a single reason why this thing would not light up, do anything at all with all of that hooked up. It had power, had ground, had everything. I tested it out here with the battery, and just as I expected, it's a dud. So we gotta find the new head unit. Fun, right? I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't want a new one, I want an old school one. At least the cassette player's out. That way I ain't gotta worry about doing it again. Not putting it back in, that's for sure. So I went on eBay, found me this Alpine CDA 9827. Said it was tested and it works. So I said, screw it. I bought it and I hooked it up to the jumper box using the constant power and the switched ignition in the ground. Hooking it up and it works perfectly. Goes right through everything. Everything works. Mode, volume. It's a cool little radio. Oh, they're all set on the same one, I guess. You can change it. Detachable face. Sweet. So let's get this sucker all wired up and we will install it in the car. So we're back out here wiring again. This is the harness that we need to wire these two connectors right here to. You can see the old harness, so I'm basically just gonna snip these off, connect these up, and there's one of these wires, it's somewhere over here. It's the blue one right here, this blue and white one. I just connected it right there to the red wire, which is the switched ignition, and the blue and white is the remote turn on lead. We got the harness all connected, everything's right. I double checked everything after I installed it, and while I was installing it, I was checking it, of course. I just wanted to double check afterwards to verify. So now I can take and wrap the harness. I'm gonna use some harness tape, wrap it up. So far on this side, split it off, go up the rest of this, and just do the bottom of the ground wire. That way I can have free range of motion with it to take it and ground it underneath the dash. Alright, so here we are. We got the harness all done. We got the ring to go around the head unit. That's the old one down there. It doesn't work. This is the one that I just got off eBay. And I like it more because it's got blue buttons, where that one's got green. This one just looks better, I think. So when I install this, I'm going to hook up the wiring harness. Then I'm going to slide this puppy right through. First, I just noticed that I still have to take off these little brackets right here. If I take these off, it'll slide all the way down through here, which is what I need to be able to mount it flush and put the ring up against it. That way when you put it in, you don't see any gaps. You know what I'm saying? So it's all sealed up looking. Use this ground that's underneath here. Ground it to the back of the chassis. I got a bolt for it. Where is it? Right here. I shortened the bolt so the threads are right and they go all the way in and bottom out on the chassis, so I know I don't have to add a bunch of washers. So we're gonna do that, and then I'm gonna reuse the factory bracket also, which goes from the bottom of the dash like that and then wraps around the back. I'm gonna try to reuse it if I can. If not, I gotta figure out a new way to mount it, but that's the goal, is to use this bracket, and then with the ring up front and everything, it's gonna hold it in at the front. That's the goal. We're gonna see if it works. I'm really hoping it does, but I will let y'all know as I go. And it's just me, so it's not like I can have somebody else film it. I mean, I guess I could set my phone up in here, but I kind of got stuff everywhere, so I'll let y'all know as I go. So as you can see, I took the face off the front and slid it back in there. And this bracket is way too big. Like the CD player, it might make it back to there, but it ain't going all the way to there. So that's useless for this. So I modified up the cage that goes around the old CD player that doesn't work. I modified it up and cut it up and made me a bracket, drilled a couple holes, and I'm thinking it's gonna work. If not, I'll just adjust the holes a little bit, but this is gonna work. It's gonna mount it up right here, hold the good CD player in place. So we're gonna bolt this up, make sure it works good, and then we're gonna start finishing up, hooking up all the wires for the CD player, finish mounting it, and see how it works. So I bored out the top hole here more so I can get a better angle on the radio so it's not crooked pointing upward, so I can adjust it so it's more level, or like at least to that panel. So we're gonna try this now, bolt it up, and see how it works. So we got it mounted. This ring, it's loosely sitting around it. First, before I finish installing the ring and making it all right, let me turn the key back and test it. Oh, it's turning on. It's on. Turn the volume at 0. Well, it's turning on. It hasn't done anything for sound yet. Let me get a CD real quick. The harness that came with this radio didn't have the audio interrupt lead pinned in it. So I took the one out of the bad radio harness and I took and pinned it. And I made sure to tape up the end right here. And that still didn't do it for me. What my problem is I'm pretty sure that the factory amp, it runs off higher frequencies and the Alpine runs off of low frequencies. So what I'm gonna have to do is, I guess, bypass the factory amp and use the built-in mini amp or whatever that's in the CD player itself and run my own speaker wires all the way around it and do it that way. So I gotta figure out everything I need to do that. It seems pretty complicated, yet pretty simple at the same time, but it's one step forward, 2 steps back. But at least we got it installed and figured out how to mount it. It looks good. Looks real good. And for that bracket right there that that's underneath here that I fabricated, what I did is I used a bolt with the washer, ran it down through the dash frame, and then I put a nut in the washer, and I also hooked up a ground down there. And that's how I mounted the bracket. And then I could take and put the screw from the back of the bracket into the back of the chassis of the radio to mount it right there. And then I just used a little piece of sound deadening, slipped it across here, and then I set the radio in there right on top of it. And I put the ring right around it. I still haven't actually pressed the ring in, but I guess it's already seated. Anyways, that's where I'm at. As you can see, I got the center console back in. Radio looks nice. Looks like it's meant to be here. You know, it's from 2004. But there's nothing I can really do about it now because today's Friday and I got a car show that I'm going to tomorrow at 8 in the morning. So I can't rewire a whole audio system and do it all, you know, because I gotta bypass the factory amp and wire the speakers directly to the radio itself and not plug the radio into the factory harness and do it that way because of the factory amp that's in the dash. And there's nothing I can do about it now. I gotta order all the wiring, figure out everything I need, get it ordered, and then basically tear apart the interior some to run all the wiring and get all of that figured out. So for now, that's where we're at. Radio looks good. It just doesn't turn on right now because it's unplugged. And I don't want to damage anything because the frequencies on the factory amplifier are high and the frequencies that the Alpine runs off of are low frequencies. So I'm not going to turn it on. I just got it unplugged back there, just the wiring loosely behind it, you know. And right now I got to get the car ready, cleaned up and stuff for a car show tomorrow. The Alpine right here has a built-in amp. That's why I can wire the speakers directly to the head unit itself. So that's how I'm going to do it. So this definitely isn't the way I wanted to end the video. I wanted to end it with speakers bumping to the sounds of a 6-string. But not everything goes as planned. And I'll definitely have a part 2 of this video coming out soon. I don't know how soon because I got to find everything I need and order everything and get it in and find the right time to install it. But I try to post a video every Sunday, so it's going to be on a Sunday soon. But anyways, this taught y'all how to remove the factory radio. Kinda a little bit on how to install an aftermarket singled in. I didn't have anything to mount it, so I used the cage that comes around it. I didn't use any of the brackets on the outside of the Alpine. I just slid it right back in there and mounted it to the chopped up cage. Screwed it all together, had a ground, everything back there. I bolted the cage, like the L piece of the cage that I cut out. I bolted it right down to the dash frame. That way in the back, when I slid it in, I could just screw that hole right through the cable wire. That was a ground wire that grounded the chassis back there. I could just screw it right together into the back of the head unit. It holds it still. Then I just put a little piece of sound deadening right there underneath the radio on the dash. That way it kind of hold it centered, and I could take and put the ring around the CD player, and it kind of held it there pretty good. And I took it for a little spin, and it seems pretty steady. It's not like it's bouncing or rattling over there. It seems good. So that gives you an idea on how to install it, and it's not really that complicated. The hardest part would have been getting the stock radio out, because that took forever, and it was massive. The only way to get it out was through the back. You couldn't bring it through the dash, where with this head unit I can slide it right through the front of the dash when I take out the cage and the brackets on the outside of it. So it is what it is. You gotta figure it out, but that's the gist on how to do it. I need to order everything and get a part 2 video and take and post it up and have it all bumping. You know, it's once this is done, I'm gonna let y'all know right now, I got subs for it already. I got 2 tens, and I wanted to knock this out, that way I can make a custom box and start working on it. But some things don't go as planned, and you gotta improvise. So this just puts the whole setup at a later date. I wanted to have it done like by the end of the month, but it is what it is. I'm not an audio guy. I'm learning as I go, so it just takes a little extra time. But anyways, I'll get working on finding all the parts and wiring I need for the next video. But until then, I got a video that's probably going to drop next weekend also. So whenever the part 2 comes out, it comes out, but it's going to be soon. But anyways, thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.